moment like that, you know, you're kind of going along with her, and you think this might be the only way to do that kind of social criticism. That there's a way in which if you deliver that social critique without the humor, it can't be heard, and that maybe humor is the race jokes are the place where we can actually talk about race.
You can, and it also brings more people in because it's not a speech about race. If I do a college show, I'm doing a comedy show, but in there I talk about Islamophobia and Arab issues and social and political issues, they're laughing, and you're bringing more people. If I was giving a speech today on Islamophobia, you have 10 people show up.
Specifically, I get brought out to universities across the country. I normally feel like I'm being brought in to bring diversity to that place, and I literally will go in and the African American Studies teacher or whatever, it's like, we need you here to say the thing about the privilege and all this stuff, because if we say it, we get yelled at, but you say it, people laugh, and all of a sudden now we can have a conversation about it. Like literally, that's what it's for.
So it becomes this. Honestly, I've been sad at every point during the Obama presidency that we didn't have Dave Chappelle, only because I wanted, like, I just want what he would have done with it, right? Good, bad, and otherwise. And sort of missing that means I think there's certain kinds of social critiques we just end up not having.
No, exactly. And somebody like Dave Chappelle could have brought like another kind of lens into it, so we could actually laugh about some of the things that were going on.
It's been painful.
Yeah, exactly. But it is that in which you can bring somebody in to do something else. I mean, I think that this all the time is like, if I can only just bring somebody in my class to do the jokes, and then I can do the serious part. Because I think as an academic, we try to flush all those jokes away from ourselves because we talk about race and class and gender so much that if we joke about it, it's seen as this other kind of thing altogether.
Well, and I think we feel frustrated as social critics who I think all three of us at this table really focus on policy and not just the servicey stuff, and wish that, you know, we would be brought in more to be, you know, the color commentary on shows that are, and you do it all the time, but like, you know, we're happy to do it, and we talk about it amongst ourselves constantly, like when it gets heavy and meaty and hard, how do you get somebody to cut through all that and go, you know, here's like a short boom in to sum up.
Book us on the three of us, like the new Mod Squad. We'll go out there with tour colleges together, Alon, Jean, and Liz.
Yes, people are dying for me to be part of the new Mod Squad.
The new
Okay, so give me your favorite race joke or your best punchline on it.
Well, I mean, it's probably the newest one I'm doing about, and in fact, they talked about in the earlier segment that white people will be a minority in America by 2040. And there's some white people freaking out, and I tell them, don't. There are some benefits. First, you get a month to celebrate your heritage. Black History Month, you'll get at least a week, like Whitey Week, you know, and celebrations of white people like badminton and Utah and racial profiling. And white women will finally be exotic. It'll be great. Now everyone wants to date like Latino, Asian women. They'll be now like, wow, white, where'd you meet her? White Castle. That's where they make them. I should have known that.
That's great. The white minority jokes. That's good. I like it.
It's fun to make fun of white people.
Always.
I have two. One is a joke of mine where the joke is basically simple. It's like, it would have been kind of fun to see Herman Cain as the presidential nominee because there would have been mass suicides in the Klan.
Oh, dear.
So let's get canceled for that.
I remember that one.
But one of my favorite jokes we did 100 years ago when I was working on The Daily Show, and it was when the Mars Corporation introduced this new ad campaign for the Three Musketeers candy bar, and they introduced a black musketeer. And it was really a success, and people are really glad that they integrated the Musketeers. So the joke that we did was, the ad campaign was so successful, they decided to change the name of the Fifth Avenue bar to Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Oh dear.
I love it.
My favorite, it's maybe not like of my jokes, I'm like half of those I can't even tell here.
Yeah, I was like, we can get the delay button going if we need to.
There might be a baby in it. We don't want this in our lives right now. But the joke that I think about a lot when it comes to like racial humor, it was a Dave Chappelle joke. He tells this joke about when he was being picked up by a limousine driver, and they brought him to the ghetto, and he wasn't prepared to go to the ghetto. You have to be warned. And he says he's in the limo, and the guy gets a call. He's like, what happened? Who said what? I'm on my way. And he just hangs up the phone, and then he looks out the window. He says, liquor store, gun store, liquor store. Where the hell am I? And I'm like, it's so hilarious because he's starting to paint this whole picture of the community and like the social economic issues. About he looked out the window at 3 a.m. and he saw a baby. And he's like, baby, what you mean outside at 3 a.m. in the morning? He goes, I'm selling weed. And it's like, it's one of the most hilarious things. He goes, you know you shouldn't sell weed. He goes, I got kids to feed. It's a baby.
It's a baby.
Like, that's hilarious.
Okay, so mine is twofold. One is, we always had this joke when I was broke in grad school, that if a black person said they were broke, it meant that they had negative in their bank account. A white person says they're broke, we never believed them because that meant they had $500. and that they don't know the meaning of being broke. And so that was the first thing. The second one is, and I'm going to ask everybody to forgive me because I do love Michael Jackson, but during the time when everybody was sort of trying to figure out, what was it, vitiligo or something else, I would say, Michael Jackson has taught me two things. You can do whatever you want, and you don't have to be black. Even if you are black.
That was always the thing. You have to. The only thing you have to do is stay black and die.
Exactly, and you don't even have to be black anymore because Michael Jackson fixed that for us.
All you have to do now. All you have to do now is
I just have to die.
Well, there is that. So I have a joke. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell. It's
a safe
so
space.
there's a safe. It's not. It's natural television. But imagine. So here's my favorite race joke. It's a young Jewish man. He brings 3 girls home to meet his mother, and he says, "Mom, I'm going to marry one of these 3 girls, and I want you to chat with them for a bit, and then you predict which one I'm going to marry." And so the mom sits and she chats with the 3 girls, and then he says, "Mom, which one do you think I'm going to marry?" And she says, "Oh, this one over here on the right." And he says, "Mom, that's right. How did you know?" And she says, "I don't like her."